So, well, hello then, Alex. It's been a couple of months since we spoke on record. Things have changed since then. Let's talk about football first. Are you happy with how it's gone so far this season?
Yeah, it's been a great start, isn't it? I think we're delighted with our progress on the field. Obviously, we're top of the pile, so we're very, very pleased with that. The players that have come in, the players are playing now, and everything's moving forward into the right direction. So yeah, we're pretty pleased with the football results at the moment. Had a little bit of a blip the past couple of games, but that's hopefully all it is. Unless you're Arsenal in the invincible season, you're never going to go unbeaten for the whole season, are you? So we always knew something like that would come around at some point. Hopefully we've got ours out the way early.
Well, I kind of put you on the spot back then, asking you where you thought we'd finish. I've been super confident and I've not been proven wrong. But other than the FA Cup disaster, we're doing well, aren't we?
Yeah, the FA Cup was a disaster. We've never got any money in clubs at the moment with all the COVID stuff. We've never got any dough. So the FA Cup run would have really helped. You look at Chorley now, who are really reaping the rewards. You know, what's that, a £230,000 payday for them or something like that, plus the previous round. So they're probably over 300 and something grand into the coffers. So they're going to be strong after Christmas, because I would have thought they'll have a little bit of a budget. We're not in that position. So the FA Cup for us is now gone. We've moved on. We have a 24-hour rule at the club where you have a 24-hour problem, you deal with it for 24 hours and then you move on. So we've shown that this week, obviously, with a couple of bad results, but then as soon as we could breathe, we did manage to get through it. With regard to expectations, they remain the same, really. Don't go down, don't go bust. And we will hopefully be there or thereabouts at the right end of the table come the end of the season.
That's encouraging. You mentioned the C word there, COVID. How have we, the look then? How have we coped with that?
COVID's been a disaster for everyone, isn't it? I think we have to concentrate on the positives, that no one at the football club's been affected, apart from financially. So COVID for us as a club has caused us no end of grief. We're very grateful to the National Lottery. We've got £30,000 a month, but our outgoings are more than £30,000 a month. Heck, our wage bill's more than £30,000 a month. So yeah, it's been difficult. It's been a strain on the board. It's been a strain financially. We've got this far. We're into December, so we'll be able to get through this month, and then fans are hopefully going to start returning this month. For us, it's Boxing Day, so that's a little bit late for the league. We have got a potential home game before that with the FA Trophy, which is expected to be the 15th of December, providing the round, because we go in second round proper, so providing the first round gets played on time and there's no more COVID problems in that. But the FA have said on that, if there are any COVID problems, the team will lose the fixture. So that will hopefully mean that games will get played.
Well, just staying on the COVID subject for a moment, we've lost one game to it away at Gateshead when they had a problem in the camp, but we've been completely clear. What have we done that other teams haven't?
Probably nothing different. We've probably just been a little bit more lucky. We've got a policy in place here which is maintained by our COVID officer. Then we've got an assistant COVID officer. Then we've got the club doctor. So between Jodie Gooding, Steve Harvey, Stuart Lane, and obviously Dr. Ian, we've got a really good team around us. We have had a couple tested for COVID, but they've all come back negative. We're just making sure the lads are looking after themselves in the week. I think what also helps us over other clubs is our full-time nature, because it means that we can control their environment during the week. They haven't got to leave our little bubble within the football club, so I think that's actually helped us.
Right then, that's that covered. We'll go on to the big talking point so far this season now, the loss of our manager. Do you want to talk us through what's happened there and your own personal thoughts on the subject?
Yeah, so I was sat last Sunday, get a bit lost in the days, watching I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here, and I had a random number ring me, and I didn't answer it because it was about 9:15, and then James rang and said his agent had an approach if Chesterfield could have permission to speak to me, for them to grant them permission to speak to James, and you're never going to stand in anyone's way in their career progression. So we gave Chesterfield permission to speak to James. Just for the record, Chesterfield have been really, really great. They've been true gentlemen all the way through. They spoke to us daily, gave us updates on their thoughts and their plans. So we agreed that with Chesterfield. I've forgotten what day it is now. At some point last week, and James obviously has done pretty well since he's been there. He's got the win in the draw. I believe, is it? Yeah, win in the draw. So all the best to him really. So hopefully his career continues on the up, and hopefully we'll see him in the Football League at some point.
Well, when we spoke to some of the players when they signed, a few of them were quite positive that they'd signed because of James. So how does that leave them feeling now that he's gone?
Well, Asante Kwasi's obviously gone to Chesterfield. We're not going to let our best players walk out of the football club, so that was a deal that we done with Chesterfield, and we're grateful for that. And I think Asante is he's a great guy as well. I think he wants to play at the highest possible level, and I think we have to accept kind of what we are and who we are at Gloucester. We haven't got a 15,000 all-seater stadium. We've got shipping containers. So you can't begrudge anyone for wanting to play when fans do come back, in a 15,000, whatever it is, all-seater stadium. So will any more go, I guess is going to be your next question. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I think the group's fairly settled now. We have got one or two conversations in the camp, but nothing that the new manager won't be able to sort out. With regard to contracts for next season, we're already now in talks with Matt McClure for a new deal for next year. He's committed to the club, wants to stay. I think that was a worry for the fans. That's why I mentioned Matty's name, really. With regard to Liam Daly, I wouldn't have wanted a better captain right now than Liam. Liam has very much got the changing room in order's the wrong word, but very much got the changing room playing football, playing for the badge, playing for the club. Since Liam's been here, he's been great, and when he joined I was is a big name, and I thought, wow, I hope this isn't too big a name for us. But he's been brilliant. He's really, really surprised me these past couple of weeks, and if anything, our own relationships 100 times better and stronger. So who's that walking in behind me? Stuart. He's always causing chaos, isn't he? That's the role of an assistant safety officer or COVID officer. So hopefully everything now just starts to settle down, and we can go forward as a football club. 'Cause that's what we all want to do.
Well, you talk about things settling down, but things have been moving on. What's been happening over the past few days and going to happen over the next few days regarding the new manager?
So I think we've had 62 applications, and there have been 62 quality applications, real good, big names. So we've got obviously AD Mings, Webby, myself, Steve and Eamon, of course, have been going through those, and we took it down to a short list of 6, and then we took it down to a smaller interview panel, and now we're down to the final 2. So yeah, we are making progress on that. Timescale wise, might be something tomorrow, might be something Saturday. I'm mindful that we've got training again. We've got a session Saturday because we've got no game, and then we've got a session Monday, obviously back to normal next week. So in a perfect world, we'd be able to introduce that manager to the players in tomorrow morning session or Saturday's session, before obviously a full week. But the first people that will know will be the players. So we'll do it properly, you know. Once we've agreed terms with whoever it will be, we'll introduce them to the players first, and then after the players, we'll introduce them to the media.
So what are you actually looking for in a manager then? Did we get lucky when we got James? You know, are you looking for someone who's going to have us scoring at the rate that we did prior to him leaving?
Yeah, we're looking for the same sort of the same sort of mould, really, in regard to what we looked for when we looked for James, for bad English put right. So it will be someone that's a good manager and a good coach. If you look at lots of managers that have got lots of backroom staff, we haven't got the budgets for big backroom staffs, right? So we heavily rely on the University of Gloucestershire. They support us fantastically with interns for analysis, for stats, all the way through to making sure that if Justin the physio needs any extra hands for an injury or for a session, they support us with interns or graduates. So what we can't literally afford to do in any shape or form is employ someone that wants to bring a huge backroom staff in, because we've been down that road before and we haven't got the budgets for it. Our budget is set up this year to be all about the first team, all about the 11 playing and the 5 subs. So we'll continue to put all of our efforts into football rather than off-field matters. So that for us is huge. So we need to make sure the person we bring in can work with the support network we've already got in place, backroom staff-wise, rather than wanting to bring in a defensive coach, a goalkeeping coach, a striking manager, or an assistant manager, an assistant manager. You know, we have to work with the capabilities and parameters that we've got. I'm not saying we do next year, because next year's budget's not even been discussed, thought about or considered, but we certainly do this year.
Well, you mentioned AD Mings there. He's a fan's favourite from back in the day. What's his role at the club now?
AD and I are very similar in the fact that neither of us have got a huge amount of time for job titles. So I'll refer to him as Director of Football. He'll refer to himself as a geezer that's trying to help us out, you know. So, but what he's actually doing is he's constantly looking at players, making sure that if a left back, for example, is injured, or a right back is injured, or a goalkeeper is injured, or whatever, he's got 4 or 5 names that we can bring straight into the fold. Something that we've struggled with in the past, that when we've had an injury, we've gone out to get loans and we've ended up getting a loan that isn't the right mould for the football club. So, or we've signed a player that isn't the right fit for the football club. So this will hopefully allow us to make sure that we've always got a black book, for a better phrase, of names that we can bring in short term. A bit like he did with Tav, you know. Yeah. The Tavon deal was aid, you know. We sat in this position at the end of last week, I think it was, where Chesterfield wanted to take Asante Akwasi. We weren't going to let our best assets leaving the football club out, making sure we got the best deal for Asante Akwasi and making sure we had a replacement. So AD and I were talking Thursday night until 12:05 at night, and then we agreed terms with Cheltenham at literally about midnight on the Thursday, and then Tavon came to training on the Friday. So it really was, but without aid that wouldn't have happened. We'd have ended up playing the Saturday with either a player that didn't want to be here, or excuse me, or we would have played with a player potentially short, taking someone out of the 18s potentially. So.
Moving on to, well, you've mentioned the potential FA Trophy game with having fans in. Do you know what kind of numbers, and also what have we got to do to welcome them? What more work's got to be done here?
Well, you've probably noticed as you walked in, we've got some extra handrails going up now. We've got some Erica's BAPs currently being I've got a word that difficult now because of the way I've started the question. Erica's Baps, for those who don't know, is the burger vans. Yeah. So the burger vans are being completed, for a better phrase. The handrails are going in. We've got enough hand wash stations to sink a battleship, you know, so they're everywhere. The 2 metre distancing lines are now all around the ground. That was foreground we didn't need to spend or shouldn't have spent, but we have. So yeah, it really is never ending. The clubhouse bar will not be allowed to open when the fans are back in. That's an unfortunate rule that the league and the FA are kind of stipulating on us. So how we will manage that is we will make the clubhouse, when that rule gets relaxed, we'll make the clubhouse a members bar after the game. Again, it's one of the things we have to do. So if we make it a members bar after the game, that will mean that we can then control who comes in, we can undertake track and trace better, etc, 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 etc. So hopefully that will help. The 15th will be the game for the FA Trophy. We don't know if it's home, away, who we've even got yet. The FA Trophy is obviously, whether it's home or away financially doesn't really make any difference to the football club, because the way the FA Trophy and Cup games work is all the income split 50-50. So whether it's home or away, it doesn't actually affect the club financially, because you've got like a halves with the other team anyway. Hence why season ticket holders have to pay for those sort of games. So the next game with fans will be Boxing Day, Leamington Spa. We'd love to sell that out, but we don't know what we're selling yet. On the 7th, so Monday, we've got 3 safety visits, one with the Football Stadium Improvement Fund to make sure they're happy that we've spent their grant, which was 18% of the original figure, that they're happy with that. Then we've got another inspection with the SAG, Safety Advisory Group for Gloucestershire, which Jodie will head up. And then we've got another visit then with the league. So we have to have 3 kind of ticks in the 3 boxes, and then we'll be given our number for how many fans we'll allow in. With season ticket holders and 1883 members, for a better phrase, we've actually got 555 sold. So we need to obviously make sure that we look after, first and foremost, season ticket holders and 1883 members before we can even think about allowing the public in. So they've already bought their tickets for the season, but what we might have to do is get them to opt into the game somehow, just so we know they're coming. So if they're not coming, we can sell their space, for a better phrase, their patch of 2 metres by 2 metres. So yeah, I'm hopeful that we'll be allowed in. Well, my starting point's 2,000, right? Yeah. So the SAG are probably going to have a different starting point to me, much more of a conservative number. And then hopefully we'll be able to arm wrestle over a number in the middle. But yeah, we don't know is the answer to the question.
Well, I'll finish off by asking, all this effort you put in, are you glad you got involved with this club?
Am I glad? Yeah, I still am. What I enjoy personally is the banter, is the camaraderie. I enjoy my time with Eamon. I enjoy my time with Steve. I enjoy the silly little WhatsApp group we've got. I enjoy our chats. I enjoy all the stuff that involves people. As much as people might believe I'm blunt and stubborn and all of that, which is true, I am people buy people, so I buy into the people. Would I do it again? Probably. It has been fun, and if we do have a season that ends up how it started, it will all be worth it, won't it? And then I've already started to ask around what sort of numbers, what sort of budget is a championship. Is a national league budget. So yeah, just if the fairy tale continues, and I think we need to remember that it's a fairy tale. You know, we're Gloucester City. We're very humble. We're very, I come to work in a jeans and a jumper every day, right? You very rarely see me in a court. You very rarely see me in a suit and tie unless I'm coming out of court. It's it's something that we do hear. We do hear quite humbly and quietly. You know, we don't shout and scream about our position. We just kind of get on with it. So if the fairy tale continues and we do manage to find ourselves in and around the top or in and around the playoffs at the end of the season, then it'll be worth it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Alex.